Really need a news like opening intro thing, like da 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 da. But I'll figure that out. I have to remind myself maybe to look for something. So today, this will be the news for the 14th of May, 2020. So the State of Games has just happened, so there is a few bits and pieces. I have to jump around because I haven't got the news in order today. I was a little late. Stick figures, here you come. Okay. I mean, that's always a good place to start. So you'll have to let me know what chat program, Brookie. Are you using a tablet? The first piece of news is Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermaths. So it's just that trailer that we were talking about the other day, but this one, the new one that's showing off Jiva, Robocop, and Fusion. So if you're interested in Mortal Kombat 11, go check out the new content. Probably looks like the characters have been waiting for. So yeah. Oh man, this is really out of order. So we were talking about how like the indie conference was being cancelled, but it looks like the Indie Expo for Japan will be happening, which is really good. I mean, like you can see up the top, Zun, Toby Fox, Swery, Kazuya Ino, mostly recognized. I mean, some of these aren't, like Swery I wouldn't consider indie, I guess, but with the Japanese expos being cancelled and all that stuff, I'm excited to see some of this. So and they're not strangers to online presentations, so hopefully it's good. We'll go do this one. Lord and Savior Toby Fox. Yeah, I mean, so I was joking about it to my friends the other day about Toby Fox is now considered a Japanese indie dev, I guess. I don't know if he lives over there. He definitely learnt Japanese and is spending a decent amount of time over there, but it's just funny me the idea that he that's where he fits in, is to the Japanese indie scene. But he has that very that feel. You love Undertale? I mean, one of the games I was actually thinking of playing was Deltarune this morning, but I was like, I'll hold off. I don't want to play Deltarune right now. I'd need to get in a mindset to play it. But yeah. So yeah, if you were a teenager when Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 came out, you knew everyone played these games. They were very good games. Even if you weren't into skating games, they just were fun to play. And remasters coming out, so yeah. There was a joke because I saw Jack Black's his YouTube. He did a thing with Tony Hawk a while ago. Seems like they also did a pre-recording for an advertisement for this game. So now everyone's asking, is Jack Black going to be a playable character in this remaster? But yeah, sometimes there's secret characters in these games, so that'd be really weird if he was. But yeah, that's pretty cool news. So Sony is hosting a State of Play on May 14th, which is today. Later, I don't know if it's happened for the Americas. It must have already. I have to look this up. I didn't see it, but there's meant to be a full gameplay thing for Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm pretty excited for that. So I'll have to try and find that today. Maybe we could look at it tomorrow if it's worthwhile. Harvest Moon is getting a new game. Good thing to follow up Animal Crossing, in my opinion. It's called One World. That is a very PlayStation 2 logo. I mean, the Harvest Moon team is not really a big team. They're pretty indie, so yeah. Don't know what to expect. I mean, I just expect an expansion of a Harvest Moon game, but yeah. Capcom aims to release multiple major titles. I mean, of course they are, but they've got, it's basically an entire year, so this is sort of obvious, but the phrasing on it is that it's new major titles, which hopefully means actually IPs, not like remakes. Hopefully it means that they are going to get a couple of games that they've been sitting on for a while to actually get new ones out of it. Probably means like, it says completed, so I don't think like Monster Hunter like would be one of them, but I would love to hear at least an announcement. You prefer the story of season series because it has original characters? Yeah. I think the direction they took a couple of like the Harvest Moons is a good idea, but I don't know. I don't know what they'll do now, because I feel like a couple of games that have come out from Japan of recent are the types of things that might push them in a different direction, but I don't know. This one was a bit of a dumb news to read. China Joy taking place still despite the pandemic. I've already read like a few things about how, like, I mean, China's already opening up their arcades and things like that. I don't know if they're in a state to do that. The fact that this is such a sort of tepid time, them still wanting to do it for July 30th, we'll see. This might be just a really, really bad idea. But China gonna do what China gonna do. Ubisoft is to do their own presentation set for July 12th. Not really much news other than if you're an Ubisoft fan, you probably will see more games. So a good example here's ones we do know about is Beyond Good and Evil 2. I want to see more of that. Watch Dogs Legion, new Assassin's Creed game, some new Tom Clancy. It's called Quarantine. I don't know about that game, unfortunately. But yeah, I would expect to see pretty much what we probably would know to see, except we will be seeing next generation, hopefully. So that's the thing with all these presentations, we will be seeing next generation, hopefully. So at least they can talk about it in their own way and hopefully give it a bit more breadth and time to talk about it. But if they haven't got much footage and they've got the entire floor space, like I really don't know what that's gonna mean. I mean, this one's a bit of moot news, but like, you know, whatever. Bethesda Pete Hines says that it'll be years before Elder Scrolls 6 details appear. I mean, it was such a weird thing to add to a kicker to 2018's E3 meeting. Like, it was so strange. Like, them just showing that, it's like, of course there's going to be a new one, but it's just gonna take forever. Like, they always take ages to come out. And the fact that they're trying to make a new engine for the other games that they're making, it's going to take even longer. Like, holy heck. So, yeah, see, like it says here, it's after Starfield, which pretty much know nothing about. So, yeah. Don't expect that game anytime soon. Go mod your Skyrim up. Like, you can get a really good game out of that game, but don't expect to see a new Elder Scrolls anytime soon. This was weird news. I had a friend actually impacted by this. So Platinum Games apologizes for blank Switch codes following the wonderful 101 delay. So yeah, there was a couple of weird things about the release of the 101 re-release, including like missing codes, codes that were just for the wrong platform, and there was one other thing, but it was like it was a bit of a rough release, and this is sort of a glimpse at 101 for Platinum publishing themselves. So yeah, hopefully they get better, but that was pretty rough. Square Enix won't hold a big E3-like announcement stream this summer. I'm not quite sure why. It seems weird considering E3 is Square Enix is developing stuff, but it probably means that they probably don't have enough to show off to want to do a presentation. So especially the people talking about the COVID stuff, I think it's just going to be, we might see little bits and pieces. We know that there are games in the works, but Square Enix might be one in particular that gets hit pretty hard by the COVID stuff. So it's a good thing that they got 7 Remake out the door. But yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath for like anything for a while. Mafia Remake launches August 28th. And then also Mafia 2 Definitive Edition will be coming out May 19th. So this is for Mafia fans. I've never been a Mafia fan myself. Just yieldy GTA with story. And yeah, if you were excited for the originals or you hadn't played them and you want to check them out, then they are coming out very soon. The Pokemon movie Coco is being delayed due to COVID. Another just minor news. It's sort of to be expected. There's a heap of movies, not even just anime ones and Japanese ones, that are being delayed. Like there's Western releases like Disney movies and things like that are being held off. Some are going to direct, but most of them that are trying to make money are holding off as long as they can before they can actually release the movie. So, yep, just what's happening. Alright, time to jump into the Epic and PlayStation news cycle. So, this was like the end piece of news that the Epic team had. It's Fortnite's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, but like, I'm not surprised. It means that they've made the game fluid enough that it probably will look pretty good on the new generation. I do believe there was some footage of it, but I don't know if I'll check it out because I don't know Fortnite, so I wouldn't be able to give any comparisons really. PlayStation shipments reach 110.4 million worldwide. So the PS4 sold extremely well. Before the next generation comes out, PS4 has already done a very, very, very good job. So Sony's pretty fine. And gives me confidence that the next generation will have good support at the start, in terms of software, in terms of hardware. Still not quite sure on what that price range is going to be, but the rumored $550 American to $600 seems like it might be bang on the money for just what they're boasting in terms of power. So, the PS5 is still on track for holiday launch. No major issues in game development. So this is good news. I kind of thought this might be the case because of the fact that most of them would be on the tail end of their development. I know some developers who have been working on PS5 releases or next generation releases, and it seems like they're probably not going to be too heavily impacted. They'll be at the end of their dev cycle, basically. So hopefully they should be fine. This was a weird thing that Sony are doing. Sony really are like drip dropping all this information that they must really want to have gotten all this out at one point, and then the COVID stuff messed them up, because this was a weird thing. First party PlayStation games to be collected under the PlayStation Studios brand. So they're just making the Studios brand more notable. That's how they're going to do all the recognizable publishing and advertising. And they had a trailer for this new animation, and if you haven't seen it, it's weird. It's like it. If you've ever seen the Marvel logo from the movies, like it's that. It's just a bit weird, very generic. So hopefully they change that for any releases in the future. But yeah. Yeah, it'll pretty much have most of the teams that you would know. Like it says, like it's PlayStation Studios or brandings like SIE owned teams like Guerrilla, Naughty Dog. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of those big AAAs and the indies that they're trying to bring up and stuff. just to I would imagine mostly to hold on to the exclusivity, because of all ones, like PlayStation and Nintendo have most of the exclusivity for games still. This was an interesting piece of news that might be a leak rumor, essentially, but Sony have denied it. The PS5 release window on Japan's jobs site revealed on a job site on an error. So it was, according to the job description, October 2020 was what it stated. But the official window was holiday 2020, which would put it later. So that's actually a bit earlier. But the thing is, and then I believe it was Sony got in contact advising. Yeah, well, I guess that's what the point of this article was. It's not the initial rumor, but the Sony got in contact with Famitsu and said that it was an error in the recruitment site. It's not actually meant to be a detail that they were sharing or anything like that. It's just, yeah. So, who knows? But it is highly likely we might see it end of October. Start of November, end of October is what I would have estimated. And it sounds like that's probably what it's just going to be. So, not insane news, just a weird thing. So we may as well jump into the epic news. So the summer of games has started, and they started off extremely strong by Unreal Engine 5 being revealed. So I know someone who works at Epic, or a few people that work at Epic in Australia, and they had hinted at something extremely big coming down the works, and to keep an eye on subscriptions and all that sort of stuff for their services, which turns out it's related to this, and it's seemingly going to be a massive upgrade. So the two things in the games industry that really holds back sort of dev cycles in terms of visuals and how things function and stuff like that, the two things generally are the hardware of consoles, which becomes the baseline for what hardware will be for that generation, and the second thing is generally the top end game engines and what their capacities are, and basically how they utilize the hardware that is going to be available for that generation. Because they usually don't get too much crazy improvement over that time period. But it's funny to me that Unreal 5 at the same time as the PS5, and it's seemingly that the PlayStation and Epic are having very close communications and are working together very tightly in terms of development. So I expect the PS5 to run very well running their games. So hopefully Microsoft does as well, but gives me confidence to hear that sort of news. But to do with this article, devs won't owe Epic royalties for the first million. So they previously already had quite the high margin in terms of having how much you have to earn before you owe Epic anything for royalties. Usually just have to pay your fee if you owe over, like, I think it's like 10,000. I think you have to pay for the service. But if you're an indie, you're earning less than 10,000, I'm fairly sure you're fine. I think it's around that margin. But either way, a lot of money. Won't impact most people, but it should encourage people to go check out Unreal 5, and perfect. I would assume this probably carries over to Unreal 4 as well, but Epic debuts free online services to help devs build crossplay and crossplay games. This is massive. I can't understate how massive this is. As a fighting game fan, And as a person who wants to see more action games that are multiplayer based, this is amazing. I love this so much. Like, it probably, like, I mean, mostly they're talking about it's built on the back of the Fortnite stuff and all that. Fine. Like, Fortnite sounds like it's very good. But there's some games that need really, really good net play, and there's some games that suffer so hard because their net play is trash, and that kills their online playability. Doesn't matter how much dev work they do, if the net code is trash, people are not going to play it for beyond a certain amount of time, because the player base will just dwindle down as people get like the best connections move off it. But yeah, I'm super hype about this. This is really, really cool. I hope that this generation might do the thing that I was hoping when they started talking about breaking the walls for crossplay, and we could start seeing a unified gaming scape and better online playability than we've ever seen before. I'm quite excited for this generation purely on that measure, and yes, we'll see. Really, really excited for this. I know the FGC has already started talking about how excited they are for it. Alright. And now for the big one. So, with the reveal of Unreal Engine 5, they also showed off a showcase using the PlayStation 5's tech. Meaning, this is the reveal of the PlayStation 5's capabilities. Or its initial capabilities. Usually it's like we find this stuff gets pushed much further later. Now this is not a real game. This is just a tech demo. These things come about. Some people seem to really get confused by tech demos and think it's a trailer for something, but it's not. Very unlikely you would ever see this. The assets probably might end up on the Unreal Engine free asset store, which a lot of that stuff's really good if you've never devved with Unreal Engine. There's a lot of really good free stuff on there. If you know what you're doing and how to tailor it, you can get some really good results. But yeah, I think we should check this out together. So, let's do so. Let's see, how long is this? This is 9 minutes. So, I might actually switch this up and we might make it a Let's Watch. So, that'll be all the news, but we'll do a little Let's Watch now. So, where is...